Welcome back. In the following minutes, we will have the opportunity to meet some of the Prix CIRCOM 2023 winners. After yesterday's unforgettable gala, the motto of this year's conference will particularly come into focus. We will talk, listen, and share. May I introduce you to Moitza Ritzek, President of Prix CIRCOM and Chair of the Jury. Txalo, bero bat berarentzat.
Hello and welcome to the Meet the Winners session. This is the opportunity to get to know the creators of the award-winning programs. Today we will talk to winners of 3 categories: minorities in society, and as we know, the Grand Prix winner, digital multimedia, and young on-screen talent. So I welcome the chair of Minorities in Society jury, Dite Dinez from TVR Timișoara. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, when we tell a story, we tell it why? To change the world, to heal the world, or just to express ourselves? All these answers together make a story. How much from myself, for example, is in this story? Or it is only the character? So I would love to find our answers to these questions today. So let me invite on the scene. Yesterday, it was only the prize for the minorities, but today we say it's the Grand Prix. So first, Ingrid Buch, Chief Editor, TV2 North, Denmark, please come. And then Josephine Brother. She had to promote the story, and of course, he's the most important guilty guy, Michael Anderson, video journalist. When you saw your program, we understood that you were there alone. And we saw from the beginning your relation with the main character. So, very well done, a video journalist, yes? Let's have a complete story. So, it started from you. Please tell us.
Yes, it started with I had a phone call, and I thought it was someone who was making fun with me, because he was talking a bit different. Yeah, and he called and he would talk with me, but then I didn't hang up, but I talked with him, and I was finding out that he would like to tell about his Tourette's, and then I thought maybe we should make that story. And then I talked with Michael, and we were thinking we'll check him out and see if we could make something good with him and tell the story. So then Michael took over.
So you felt the story, yes? Mm-hmm. So Jonathan, the main character, wanted to tell his story to the world. I think that he wanted to heal something inside, yes? How was your first meeting with him?
Well, I always have the camera with me, since I'm a video journalist, so yes. I took it with me the first time I met him. And we talked for about an hour, and I said, "Are you ready to go on camera now?" So I found the camera and we started recording. I noticed that you wrote something about having a good relationship to the one you interview, and I thought a lot about that tonight. Actually, I couldn't sleep with these two under my pillow.
Yes, that's true. Yesterday he was looking the certificate. He said, "Oh my God, it's my name." I can't believe it.
I have to say something now, but I'm normally a very quiet person. I have big ears. I don't talk so much. Maybe that's an advantage when you meet people. I also have some working methods. I don't do interviews. It may sound peculiar, but I talk with people. I don't write down my questions looking at the paper. I talk with people, looking them in their eyes.
You don't have a plan when you leave your home.
Yes, I have a plan.
But not the questions.
But in my head. So I don't want Jonathan to look at the paper and think, what will the next question be? I try to make him relax by having a conversation and not an interview. Yeah.
So you feel the characters.
Again?
You feel.
Yeah.
You feel the characters, their story.
Yeah. I try to, basically take them seriously, and I want to hear their story. I mean, if we decide to do the story, I go all in and want to hear them, what they have to say. I listen carefully.
Let's see Jonathan now. Let's hear a piece from the film. Yes, please.
Jeg vil gerne hjem nu.
Ja, thank you.
Pip. Jeg har knippet en and. Nej, sorry. Pip. En frikadelle sandwich. Terrorist. Jeg vil gerne hjem nu. Undskyld. Terrorist. Sorry.
På gaden er han et nervevrag.
Halløj, mit hjerte det banker. People, jeg har det svimmel dårligt. People. Men det er også bare noget, jeg er nødt til at lære. Det er jo noget, der kommer til måske at være for evigt, så people, jeg er nødt til at være hos mennesker. Halløj. Så er jeg nødt til lige at tage nogle pauser. Ja, det ved jeg godt. Halløj. People. Terrorist. Nej, der. Terrorist. Nej, sorry. Pip. Ja, jeg er ikke terrorist.
Nej, det var godt. Ja, tak for det. Det var da ikke godt, så var det. Så, det var ikke godt, så var det, siger.
Nej, jeg har en bombe.
En bombe?
Nej.
De fleste bærer over med Jonathan, men en gang var han tæt på at få øretæver i festgaden Jomfru Anegade, da ordene perker og bøsse fløj ud af munden på ham.
Halløj, inden jeg når at sige, at jeg har Tourettes, så prøver han, people kom mod mig, og så prøvede han begyndte at true med, at han ville slå mig, people, men heldigvis var der en dørvagt, halløj, som stoppede ham, people, og holdt ham, people. Men det var en uhyggelig oplevelse. Visikat. Og jeg har ikke turt at gå i Jomfru Anegade lige siden.
Yeah. When you did broadcast the story as the first story, you helped him a lot to promote it on Facebook and?
Facebook and TikTok, yes. We made a Q&A where Michael asked Jonathan questions where Jonathan had to look directly to
After the first broadcasting? Or
yes,
before?
you've talked to Jonathan, yes. And then you asked him questions where he answered directly to the camera, and that was made just for social media. And we put it on Facebook. It was questions about what is Tourette's syndrome and how does it affect your everyday life. And we put it on Facebook and TikTok, and it got 1.4 million views, I think. It was very well received, and people really got inspired by him and thought that he was so brave telling his story.
So you prepared the story. And after that, so this is the piece that won, yes, the Grand Prix CIRCOM. Again, congratulations. But this is not the end of the story, because in the meantime, you had no idea that you will win, yes?
No.
But your story followed.
Yeah, we found out that Jonathan is such a big character, we couldn't just let go of him. We decided to make some more footage with him, and actually it ended up being a series of 3, which was aired this spring, and also, I think we could say, well received. Also thanks to your brilliant work at the SoMe. And I can say now that Jonathan actually can make a good living out of his stand-up comedy. So it's really nice to have been able to give a voice to him. I mean, it's no fun having Tourette's, but he managed to make fun out of it. So I think it's it's wonderful to see that.
But your story changed Jonathan's life, yes?
I think so, yeah.
Not only because he is famous, but why do you think it's the big change?
For him, I think he's got a very big drive in him. I mean, he really wanted to do this. Also, without me being there, I think he would have succeeded, but it might have taken a longer time.
What did you felt when you met him for the first time? Pity, sorry, I don't know. You wanted to help him. I want to understand, what do you wanted to tell us through this story? You wanted to help him.
Yeah, I don't know if I exactly wanted to help him, if that's the right word, but I wanted to tell his story because it's so interesting. I mean, besides he's a great character, it's also unusual. I mean, we're always looking for some unusual to happen, and it's not every day you see a guy with Tourette's doing stand-up.
But your personal feelings or your approach, what did you felt for him? I tell you, for example, what we felt, the jury. So seeing your film, yes,
I'm interested.
We were crying and laughing and crying and laughing. It was incredible. In 10 minutes, I've got five different senses.
Feelings, yeah.
Yes, feelings.
I can say when I was filming at the street, I felt it wasn't pleasant. I mean, I think I felt what Jonathan felt in that moment, awkward, and what will people's reaction be? It was a bit unpleasant, but otherwise, he's just a nice guy.
It's a good story for minorities because it's about inclusion. It's about helping. And I ask you so much about what you felt, because we all are journalists. So we have to understand that on the screen, it's not just a character. If you don't agree, tell me, please. But I think that on the screen, it's you and the character. Let's see another part from the film.
Må jeg få 5 minutter til at trække vejret? Pip. Kan du hurtigt tage det der kamera ned? Bare lige hurtigt. Pip. Det kan du ikke. Terrorist.
Yes, this is the end. This is the end, and I like it very much because you respected him. And why did you let this piece? You couldn't...
Why did I use it?
Yes, why did you use it?
Because I think it's a good ending of the story. A good way to, close it. And also to show that, well, I respect him in a way. I guess that's it. Actually, to be honest, I made some more footage after this, but you know, it's the way you cut it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the jury found it out that a lot of respect is here. And your piece, your story, yes, it's about basically journalism, simple and correct when you respect your character. You don't find in his program metaphors, let's say, yes? Or, I don't know, shots from far away or something like that. But it's the way to say a story respecting the character. What follows now? Your life is changed? Jonathan's life is changed. Yours?
My life?
Yes.
Yeah, I won this prize.
You don't sleep during the night, I understood.
My life changed. Yeah. Pardon?
You don't sleep during the night, no? Why? The first changing, yeah?
Not this night, no. Yeah. I don't know if I understand your question right, but...
what will be your life? If you
my
see,
life?
Yes, now it's changing. When you go back home, you have a prize, no?
Yeah.
The Grand Prix CIRCOM.
I'm very proud of this prize, let me say that. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
And for you, for the TV station also, it means a lot.
It means a lot because we are very proud of this prize and proud of showing minorities It is important for us that we have changed Jonathan's life. And in Nordjylland, where we come from, we have this autumn a big show, and we are hiring him so he can come and perform with his stand-up. So he's making a living out of it.
Did you call Jonathan? You have to call Jonathan, that we all saw him. The minorities category is a hard category because you have to decide. There are a lot of sad stories. I was in the jury several times by minorities category, and there are so sad stories, and sometimes you have to think that you have to see the film, not only the sad story, because we are human there. And when you cry and you see the sad story, you want to say, this is the story, but not the other story. So the jury has a difficult job in minorities. Most of them, they are sad stories. But what are we looking is not only the story, it's how the journalist sees the stories and how it follows, the integration and the right for these characters to be on the screen. I don't know what the time, but I think we have to leave. Thank you very much. It was an honor for me. And how I said in the presentation, when we make a story, we can heal a world. Because a world, for us as journalists, I think it means the main character. So you heal the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dite, and congratulations to Grand Prix winners once again. Now we move to next category. It's digital multimedia. And I welcome Susanna Johansson from SVT. She was a member of the jury. Please, Susanna, welcome.
Thank you. So I represent the judges for the category Digital Multimedia this year. Obviously, all CIRCOM members are facing enormous challenges, embracing digital technology to communicate with their audience. And this year's entries represented a broad variety of competence and skills, and both informative and entertaining. There have been stories with exceptional societal relevance, investigative, with substantial journalistic competence, and others have delivered high amount of regional value. I can assure you that it hasn't been easy for the judges. Before we talk to the winners, I would like to give a shout out to our commended NRK Ostfold. The jury was very impressed with the entry that demonstrating how artificial intelligence of TikTok is creating completely different realities via personalized information. The story is investigative, innovative, and it even reached international awareness. However, the entry that ticked all the boxes, all the criteria for this category this year, is the entry Climate Change in Sweden. So welcome up, Swedish television, Ulla Olsson, Anna Wikman, Anders Kauranen, och Erika Stenback. And it is important for me here to declare that I was not in the final vote, voting for the winners, because I have some colleagues here on the stage. Although, as I mentioned, it ticked all the boxes for this category. The chair of the jury group is not here today in San Sebastian, but I will read from the chair's report. The winner of the category certainly is the best practice of digital multimedia, fulfilling all quality criteria of the category. SVT's regional cooperation focuses on one of the most important topics of today's world, the climate crisis. It is a convincing journalistic story looking at different regions in Sweden, including a high level of audience participation. perfectly multimedia. The project from SVT is a benchmark for the category Inspiring Future Candidates. And before I let you guys in, I'm going to show the audience a short summary.
Klimatförändringar är inte något avlägset som bara kommer drabba oss i framtiden. Det händer här och nu. Sverige blir varmare, det regnar mer och antalet dagar med snö blir allt färre. Men hur påverkas egentligen människor, djur och natur av det här? Vi på SVT:s lokala nyheter har gjort nedslag runt om i landet från Skåne i söder till Norrbotten i norr för att se hur det här påverkar människors vardag. I en unik kartläggning av Sveriges förändrade vinterklimat kunde användarna själva klicka sig fram på vår specialbyggda sajt och se klimatförändringar från olika regioner runt om i landet.
Vi märker att klimatet ändras genom att vi har kortare vintrar och att vi kan inte lita på att vintern är kvar. Så vi måste vara beredda på att den helt plötsligt så är kärlen borta.
Det är stora förändringar som har skett här sedan slutet av 80-talet. Det är öppet vatten i sjön 4 till 6 veckor längre per år.
Vi gav också människor chansen att ställa frågor till 4 av landets mest...
That's a pity. All right, I hope you got a view of what it was all about. So I will start with you, Erika. You were kind of the spider in the web for this cooperation between all regional stations in Sweden working together. Tell us more about how and why this project was started.
Yes. Is it working? Yep, now. At SVT, we work really hard to cover all of Sweden, and we have local stations from Skåne in the south to Norrbotten in the north. It's a really long country. And we have even established more local news in the last few years. And we do a lot of collaborations between local news. It could be like Dalarna, where I'm from, and Skåne, perhaps, if we have a common subject to cover. Or it could be all local stations, as it was this time. And it's also a goal that we should cover climate changes more. That's set from high above from the managers. So this was a step in that direction to do more climate changes subjects and to show the whole of Sweden what's happening right now.
SVT has adopted an online-first approach for regional news station. Can you provide us further information about that?
Yes, we have been working online first at local news since 2020, right? Yeah, we've made a big change then. We've been working online before, of course, but this was the change where local news is working online first. That's our goal, and we work. Reporters and news editors put the stories online first, and then we have broadcast desks that packages the stories and make news program out of that material from online. And we have a target group that we are looking for all the time, that is people 20 to 40 years old. That's our main target group. And we do a lot of short videos it's supposed to be like high speed, good pictures, emotions, of course. We're trying to do that. And we also try to include the audience in online chats. Maybe there's, like in this case, there were experts answering the people's questions. And sometimes people could just share their own stories. And in this case, we also had a special form that people could fill in and tell us what they saw in their like neighborhoods.
What can you say about the public reach for this project?
It was 500,000, and it was the same day as this tragic earthquake in Turkey. So we don't know how it would have went otherwise, but we're 10 million in Sweden, so 500,000.
So in general, how do you think about digital transformation and how can public service media contribute?
Well, it's the reality. It's we have to do this transformation to stay relevant for the audience, and therefore we have to work online first, and also on social media, and now a lot of people get their news from Google, so we have to work on that area as well, how we can be relevant there.
What can you say, what have you learned from this project?
A lot, but the main thing is it takes a lot of time and effort to make this kind of big story. But if you put a team together with different kinds of expertise, you can work more effective and in the end get a good story out of it.
Yes, in this project we worked, as Erika said, all over the country. In Sweden, since a couple of years ago, we have actively worked the local news and the national news together. In this project, we went even further. We had our meteorological department, we had our computer science, computer journalist, we had our Erika Bjerström, who is a specialist at SVT on climate change, who was actually a speaker at CIRCOM last year. She did an analysis. And to get this out gave an impact, even if we were at the same day as the earthquake in Turkey, and we tried to actually move this thing, but being so many different local stations, it wasn't possible because there would be empty on their site and in their television, and that is something we have to deal with. We were planning this very thoroughly, and that is a lesson you of course have to do, but then sometimes things happen. But for us to work together, that is such a lesson that we could do. It's bigger, it's better. You don't just have to see on the reach, but it's people starting to talk about this. And for us, it was so important to be close to people's heart, to talk about this is the winter, what's happening this winter 2023 in Sweden right now. It's not something far away.
And Anders, I will let you in too. You work as a researcher. What has been the most challenging for you?
The most challenging has been working with so many people. We broadcasted this at 20 stations at the same time, or even more. And then you have about 50, 60 persons involved. And we are very carefully, when we were doing this, line by line, checking everything. But you only need one people who's changing something to the wrong, and it all will fail. But we managed to succeed. And there weren't any complaints against this publication. The other thing is source criticism. You need to be very careful with the sources. When you talk about climate change, it's easy to mix up with weather, and that's the most common wrong you're doing when you're making journalism about climate. You mix climate and weather, so you have to be very careful about that.
If you look at other projects that you have been involved with, have you what have been the success factors this time?
I think success factor is some of the things we've been here into. Choosing a subject, a lot of us are doing things about climate change, and then the question is how? How do you do it? How do you do it interesting for people? And we landed very close to getting it close to people's heart. And sometimes there isn't the big change, but it still is there, and it affects people, and people can see it. And the other thing Anders was into, you have to be extremely checking fact, line by line, is a success factor, because when you write, people can't come back and say, because there's a lot of people that will ask questions about a subject like this. And working together, if you do it in your own country or with other regions, to reach out, because you get stronger, you get new ideas. That's important, and that has been a success factor in this.
A lot of people got involved and shared their stories. Will you follow up on this?
Yes, we are actually doing it right now, because this was the Swedish climate, the winter, and we are doing it. And I see my boss down here, and she was like, you have to do it before the summer. And we are. So during this time, a lot of us we are texting, and we are on Teams, because right now it's happening. It's going to be published right before midsummer in June. And we have learned a few things. We're going to do it a little bit more slimmer and try to get it even sharper, but to take all the best things, the dialogue with the audience with us to reach even further on that, and to get out in social media, where Anna is the expert, even more. How can we, in an even better way, reach the younger audience?
I'm sure there's people here that are very inspired and want to do something similar. Do you have any good advice?
Think carefully about the subjects. It could be climate change, but there's a lot of different subjects. But keep them, I think we saw that in the wonderful documentary here about Tourette's. Make people engage, make people find subjects that are close to their heart, because those are the ones that flies. The other ones we can put so much effort into, and it still just tags along. This one is going to be a long tail, I think, because this one we have the parts where our weatherman, our meteorologic, we can use that next winter. It's not going to be, it's going to live on, and to find things that live on are a very good success. And to work together. Again, we say it because we are 21 local stations, there's the national news, there's our different, use everything you have, use everything you can find to work together, I think.
Thank you. I think the time is up.
Thank you very much, Susanna, and thank you and congratulations to you. And now we continue to next category, to future of journalism, to young on-screen talent. I welcome on the stage Daniel Strömbach, SVT Halland, Sweden. Welcome, Daniel. Maybe for a beginning of our conversation, I should read some of the lines what the jury felt when they saw your pieces. So the jury said, Daniel Strömbach is a very motivated and confident on-screen personality. His video journalism is of great quality, both from technical and journalistic perspective. Daniel is a proficient storyteller, covering a wide range of topics, from hard investigative to lighter ones, yet still making himself a recognizable and relatable person, no matter the environment. How would you introduce yourself.
Well, I'm 27 years old. I live in Halmstad, Sweden, a small city in the south of Sweden. I've been a journalist for 4 years, about 4 years. And do you want to know something about my background?
What's the thrill of being a journalist?
Well, the thrill is that you get to experience so much and get to meet so many interesting people. It's I can't even believe that I get to do this and still get paid.
We want to talk today about different aspects of your work, so I suggest we watch the first clip and then we will explain why have we watched it.
Yeah. Hej hej! Jag tänkte kolla om ni har manikyr med akryl.
Ja. Det har vi.
Har ni möjlighet att skriva fotvård på kvittot istället?
Ja, det är inte sant. Jo, absolut. Ja. Fotvård funkar jättebra. Jag kan skriva fotvård.
Friskvårdsbidraget som man kan få från sin arbetsgivare är till för att vi ska förbättra vår hälsa, inte vårt utseende. Det som räknas är idrottsaktiviteter som till exempel gym eller simning. Men även massage och vissa typer av fotvård räknas. Men det gör däremot inte manikyr. Och det är så här många fuskar. På kvittot blir manikyren helt enkelt fotvård. Vi har ringt närmare 50 salonger runt om i Sverige där en tredjedel ställer upp på att fuska med kvittot. Många säger att de har gjort det förut. Det är trots att det kan vara olagligt både för salongen och för kunden.
Jag har gjort det tidigare så jag kan för det.
Ja, okej, vad bra. Ja, men då borde det funka ju. Är det andra som har gjort så? Vet du om det har funkat? Det är andra som har gjort så.
There were no English subtitles, that's why maybe you can explain the story behind it.
Yeah, I can explain it shortly. So this was an investigative piece where I revealed how beauty salons tampered with receipts, so customers could get a receipt that said something else. They could buy a makeover, but in the receipt it said massage, for example. Because in Sweden we get money from our companies to go out and do sports and work out and stuff like that, to buy a membership at a gym and to get massages and stuff. So the customers exploited the system so they could get makeovers and then get the money back from the companies.
And the way you told this story is a first-hand experience, actually.
Yeah, so I interviewed a lot of different people, both the managers at these beauty salons and also government people and stuff like that. But I wanted to tell the viewers in Sweden how this was happening. So I thought that there was no better way than going to the beauty salon and actually tell it there and explain it.
Sometimes you have to make a story more exciting, even though maybe the person you are interviewing is a bit dull. So we will see or watch another clip and say more about it.
Yeah.
Det här är dokument för 5 miljoner skattekronor. Mycket som nu ser ut att aldrig komma till användning. 5 miljoner, är det en vanlig summa för ett sånt här arbete?
Det är svårt att jämföra, men det är relativt mycket för en detaljplan, ska jag säga. Det är det.
Så vad är det då egentligen som har kostat? Jo, 3,5 miljoner kronor har gått till nedlagd arbetstid. Sen handlar det om utredningar. Utredningar för 1,6 miljoner.
Ja, det kan vara geoteknisk utredning, det var våra dubbla konsultrapporter kring kulturmiljön. Jag minns inte alla utredningar vi gjort ens.
Men 5 miljoner kronor är bara toppen av isberget. Totalt uppgår summan till nästan 9 miljoner kronor för hela projektet. Och miljonerna började spenderas från projektets början. 2 miljoner kronor lades på den tävling där man skulle utse vilken aktör som skulle få bygga sitt hotell på platsen. Och sen har vi folkomröstningen. Där pratar vi också miljonbelopp. Men med facit i hand nu, hade ni kunnat vänta in folkomröstningen för att säkerställa att inga onödiga utredningar görs som kostar skattemedel?
Det blir ju lite en teoretisk fråga. Hade folkomröstningen gått åt andra hållet hade vi fått kritik för att vi hade pausat ett arbete som politiken har gett oss uppdrag att driva på.
Yes, so please, Daniel, explain some more.
So in Halmstad, the government planned on building a big hotel, and they planned it for many years, about 5 years. And eventually the people said, no, we don't want it. And so they decided to not build it. But they had worked on the hotel for 5 years, so they had spent a lot of money. And I interviewed the guy from the city hall, and you know, sometimes when you interview people that don't really want to be interviewed, they aren't really dedicated to the story. So you need, if you want the viewers to watch it until the end, you need to make sure to push it forward always. So I decided to, okay, he can answer the critical questions, and I will explain how they or what they spent money on. And I was on the location where the hotel was supposed to be built and talked about the different costs.
You are a journalist, but this is not all that you do. Let's say in this piece, what was your work? What it included, not just journalistic work, right?
Yeah, well, mostly I work as a VJ, so yeah, as you know, I film it myself, I do the research, I edit it, and I do the interview as well. But for this piece, it took some time to get all the numbers and make sure that we didn't miss anything, because, you know, when we ask government for information, sometimes they can be a bit tricky to tell us exactly. If we don't ask specifically, they might not give all the information. So we had.
Why do you prefer to work it in this way as a VJ?
Well, I like to have control over the material that the filming, basically, because when I'm out reporting, I basically edit the clip during the time, because I think, okay, he said this, so I'm gonna put that in the beginning, then I want shots of him doing this and this and this, and I want a shot of me doing that, so I have more control over the output of it, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Let's watch the third and the last clip.
Yeah. Att det är kullerbyttans dag. Oj. Kör! Kullerbytta! Oj, 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 oj. Hur har du kunnat bli så bra på kullerbyttor då?
Jag har gjort det på gymnastik och lärt mig.
Hur gör man det bästa kullerbyttan? Hur ska man göra? Så. Och fötterna, ska jag ha knäna nere? Nej. 1, 2, 3. Det var väl ändå rätt bra?
Det bästa som finns är att göra kullerbytta på madrasser.
Och hur många kullerbyttor klarar du av att göra på en dag? Nej, du klarar väl mer än 5?
6.
6 stycken? Vad händer om man gör 7 då?
Blir man trött?
Nu har du gjort 6 stycken. Nu får det vara nog, va?
Nej.
Inte? Det kommer pågå hela dagen, va?
Ja.
I don't even know how to explain this. So it was the national theme day for doing flips, basically. So we decided to go to a daycare center, and they were practicing doing flips. And I hadn't really planned anything. I just went out because I really love to be spontaneous when I'm reporting, because I think it gives something extra to the story. It makes it more real, because if you plan ahead, sitting in the newsroom at the office, you might miss things when you are actually on the site, because
you're so focused on what you have planned. So when someone new is starting at our office, I always tell them to don't plan too much. Try to be a bit spontaneous because it will make the story better.
What kind of stories are your favorite ones?
Well, these soft news are very nice because it gives more freedom to be more spontaneous, I guess. Because I mean, the investigative piece, I need to present the facts, but the soft news, you can be on the field and do the reporting, and yeah, it's more relaxing as well. But I like all kind of different stories.
You come from Holland, SVT. How would you describe your working environment and support there?
It's a small newsroom. We are 11 people, about 8 reporters. So we do basically everything ourselves as VJs, but sometimes we can ask a colleague if they can help. But we always try to push each other to develop and to keep doing better. So we always discuss the news pieces on the morning meeting to ask what is good and what could we have done better.
What are your future plans?
Well, I really like to inspire people. So I already been asked by 2 newsrooms in Sweden to come and inspire on how to be on screen, basically. So I'd like to do more of that.
Are there any major stories waiting for you to work on it?
Well, we have the summer coming up, and Halmstad is a summer town, I guess. We have a lot of tourists coming there, so I'm really excited for that because it's always so fun to work during the summer, because that is when the things are happening in Holland, basically.
The award for the Young on-screen talent is to visit another regional TV station. Do you know where do you want to go? Who will host you?
No, not really, but I think I want to go somewhere where I understand the language, so because otherwise it might not be so easy to learn stuff. But I think I'm gonna contact BBC and see if they can take me in.
Do you have a message to other young journalists across Europe? What would you tell them?
Well, I would just like to say, just try. If it doesn't go as you thought, you try again and you learn by your mistakes and you will develop and become a better reporter. So don't be shy. Just go out and do your own stuff.
Thank you very much, Daniel.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.